And we're back. The Steve Brown Art Center, the creative heart of Buchanan County, with a thriving community where art flourishes. With dynamic exhibits and interactive workshops, we spark creativity and passion. Discover a world of artistic inspiration at the Steve Brown Art Center. To learn more about the SBAC, go to their Facebook page.
We've really improved over the last 2 weeks, haven't we?
We have.
There's a lot of good adjectives in there that you're using about us. So.
We have. It's January 13th, 2025, the birthplace of the Bohemian Revolution. From Cowork 591 Studios, we are the Bohemian Reformation, and this is the Steve Brown Art Center Podcast Network. With producer Blake Tempus and co-host Dale Rueber, I am Jim Gillespie, and this is the Jesup News for January 13th, 2025. Tonight, we are sponsored by Mickey D's Pizza and Lobster. The Farrells are kind sponsors of this podcast. Include them at your wedding, graduation, or festival plans. Don't wait, their schedule is filling up for 2025. The Steve Brown Art Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that has a vision for artists, young and old alike, to have the opportunity to better themselves while helping to build the skills around them. Remember, the long-range vision is to house a rural artist residency program for the professional and emerging artists in all areas of the arts and the humanities. Another sponsor who's been with us since the birth is Derek's Repair, located in Jesup, Iowa. Contact Derek Marty for your car repair needs. Our third sponsor. Third sponsor.
We'll be all commercials pretty soon.
We are. Well, the last commercial is now.
Oh, okay.
Have you been asking what is up with something going on lately? Everyone has a story, opinions, and experiences to share, and they do that on the What Is Up podcast, discussing real life with real people, the good and the bad, the highs and the lows, and everything funny in between. The most interesting yet entertaining podcast that makes people think, one conversation at a time. After you're done listening to us, check out Bubba Seaman on the podcast What Is Up. So, welcome back, Dale.
Well, it's nice to see you again too. So
yeah, we're hiding Rich Moore Kelly down there. Today he's in our audience. He said he wanted to be in our audience. We put a microphone on him, so he may be in and out.
Yeah, I just wanted to come in and laugh a little bit.
All right. Well, welcome. We'll try.
Pressure's on now.
We'll try. All right. So Dale, one of the things I sent you before we took our Christmas hiatus was. We wanted to review 2024. Mm-hmm. So let's do that. Let's remember we did that last year, and that was a lot of fun, if you recall that. Let's start with the death of the most influential person in 2024.
The death?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jimmy Carter comes to mind right now. Was an influence. Well, he still had some influence now, I think, with all the books that he's written and just the reputation he had as a person who cared about other people. I'm trying to think of somebody else that died in 2024. You have to help me.
Well, I had.
Who'd you have?
I had Jimmy Carter, but I had the answer before Jimmy Carter died. Brian Thompson, the head of that insurance company that was shot dead on the streets of New York City.
Okay.
By that young man.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
They have a hard time finding a jury for that trial, aren't they?
They are.
I mean, I don't know how that's going to work. You have to get 12 people who've been living in a cave or something because they just really hammered it. And so I don't know. I'm all for freedom of the press, but I think sometimes you need to hold a little bit back just so a guy gets a fair shake, because you can be convicted in the press very quickly, and sometimes they're wrong.
Well, there was, when they brought him back, where'd they catch him? And was it
Pennsylvania?
In Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
They brought him back, and when he was in Chicago, there were a bunch of young ladies, Free Luigi.
Yeah.
I hate to speak any killer's name online just for the fact that it may motivate others.
Yeah.
The problem is insurance rates are so high, and we talked about this before Christmas. Insurance rates are so high that this Brian Thompson was made a villain. You're right. They are going to struggle to find at least not a hung jury in this.
Yeah. Well, even to see the jury, I think is going to be hard.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I don't. The evidence seems overwhelming that they have, and that's why. And there's so much publicity that I just wonder where they're going to find 12 people that haven't formed an opinion of his guilt or innocence.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing in this day and age, I think, with all the media that there is. So
I agree. What would you say? The second one is the 2024 world's biggest news story. What would you say was the biggest news story of 2024?
okay, well, you go first.
I have one that most people wouldn't even know about. 1,300 people died at the annual Hajj this year.
And where?
At the annual Hajj, the Muslim Hajj, where they go to
like
the Mecca.
They get trampled or
yeah,
in the crowds?
trampled. Died of heat exhaustion. Many things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heart attack. Many older people go. Like that.
Yeah.
So, but 1,300 people died in that 1-2 week event.
Yeah.
That's frightening.
Yeah, it is, but that's not the first time. I think there's lots of times where they have those kind of incidents at that. I guess it's a ceremony, a celebration. It's at their pilgrimage.
Yeah, it's a pilgrimage.
And I think that's happened before.
Well, the founders of Islam did not see the millions and millions of followers that follow Islam and come to that pilgrimage.
Yeah. No, I guess I was thinking it was this whole Trump thing, the election, and then the controversy almost over every one of his nominees for different cabinet posts and this sort of thing. And all of them, they say, okay, he nominated so-and-so, who in 2017 was accused by this person, of this and this and this. And it's just like every one of them has something in their past. And so everything is a controversy. Everything has, I guess, baggage with it. And so I think, well, this is the way it's going to be for 4 years, I think. So
I fear that. I fear that. But the right wing did a nice job of making Biden's 4 years a controversy.
Oh, sure. And that's their job, I guess. It's what they think is their job. But it'd be nice if they would all work together. There's got to be something they say, this is really, really good. Let's get this done. And now it seems like you don't want anything good to happen unless you get all the credit and the other guy gets all the blame. That's not the way you work things. I sometimes think all the schools in Iowa ought to get their character count banners and books and put them in a big pile and burn them, because I can't believe they're going to teach character counts in the schools when the students, especially the older kids, see all this lack of character in the leaders of their country. So that's a pessimistic statement.
I wonder if character counts is as big as it was when you and I were there, Dale.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know. So I keep thinking about things, and that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And lots changed in 20 years, the way they're doing things. So
it is. The 2024 movie of the year.
Oh, well, of course, it's the most recent one I've seen, but I really like this Dylan movie.
Yes.
From 1961 to 1965, the life of Bob Dylan and how he got going. And I was really impressed by that, with the music and how realistic it is, and how the actors do their own singing. There's no dubbing or anything like that. And watching the old cars and the buildings they show in this sort of, it just takes you right back. I was in high school those years, and it just really takes you back. So to me, it was a real uplifting kind of movie to hear the old music again and remember what life was like in the wilds of old in the 1960s. So
will that be eligible for like the the awards, the movie awards that come out here this year.
Yeah,
that go,
I don't know what the cutoff date is.
Yeah, I don't
I
either.
really don't know. I don't pay attention that much, but I don't think. Well, I don't know. I always guess I thought if it was in the calendar year, then it was up for consideration. You know, like in 2000, all the movies that came out in 2024 were in consideration for the 2025 awards programs.
Okay.
But I don't know for sure. I would not swear to that.
that makes sense. My movie is Wicked.
Okay.
The story about
All your relatives. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow, he's
Wow.
brought a knife back.
Well,
He-
I mean, really,
he
I've
was
heard about your family. So no.
he was sharpening that turkey
No,
knife.
did you go to
over
see it?
Christmas.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well,
no.
okay, well, how could you nominate
I
it as
haven't
the
seen
best
Dylan
movie?
yet. Everything I read
I see,
is going to be.
You're going by
But
other people's opinions, Sam. So
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So how many movies do you think you went to the theater to see in 2024? More than two.
And
Yeah.
I don't remember which two there were.
Yeah,
actually.
I was thinking I'm less than 5, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it used to be I would, man, every time in my life I go to 5 movies a month. But anymore, unless it's something that really is advertised a lot and you see it and want to see it badly, why? I know, I went to see that Kevin Costner fiasco, the Western he
Oh
made.
yeah.
Oh man, that's the most horrible movie I have ever seen.
He lost a house over that.
Yeah, I mean, he put a lot of his own money in, he
Yeah.
said, and it was supposed to be volume 1, then volume 2. Then volume 2 has never appeared.
No.
And you hear no mention of it. But oh no, I just.
It was that bad, huh?
It was terrible, and you couldn't follow the story. I mean, it was just very disjointed, and maybe you say, okay, it'll all come together in volume 5 or something. I don't know, but no, it was not. It wasn't much fun to watch.
Yeah, he
So-
lost millions of dollars over that.
yeah. And somehow you get that in your head. This is going to be great. I know just how to do it, and then nobody else sees it. So.
Yeah, and again, those people. Oh, a lot of people aren't afraid of failure.
Oh, I
To their
understand that.
credit.
Yeah.
To their credit.
Yeah, because he's wanted to do it, and he had the resources to do it, and so he went ahead, and good for him. I don't blame him for doing it. I'm always amazed when you see a movie that's a real clunker, and you think, okay, this is what these guys do for a living. Didn't anybody in that whole production team say, this is not really coming across very well? No, let's put it out anyway. I don't understand why some of those things get put out. I was so disappointed. They made a movie about the Lone Ranger 25 years ago, revival of the Lone Ranger and feature length. I couldn't wait to see it. Took my wife to see it. I loved the Lone Ranger as a kid. It was just the most horrible movie. And you think, okay, didn't anybody see that this is no good, that the dialogue is bad and the actors are bad and that the whole concept or the whole problem they were trying to solve was bad? I don't understand that nobody saw that. And then they put millions of dollars into this thing and it comes out and it just, hits with a thud. So, but anyway, yeah. Wicked, I know, has a wonderful reputation. And would you go to the one? Do you plan on going?
I'll go to Wicked. It'll be on TV before I get to theater.
Are you going to go to the sing-along one, though? They have some where you can sing along with the songs. And that's supposed to be a big deal. But I said, geez, I don't know the songs. I'm sorry, I just spit on you.
You think what I put up with here, people?
Well, I'm getting all excited, about Wicked. But I don't know the songs. And so some people they have to have special showings where the audience can sing along, because otherwise, if they sing along and not supposed to, then the rest of the audience gets mad because they want to hear the actors and singers sing the song. And so like a girl who said she was dating this guy and he'd sing along on the radio over Frank Sinatra. She said she never went out with him again. She said, how could he do that? So.
All right, speaking of sing-alongs, the Entertainer of the Year for 2024, Dale.
Well, it got to be Taylor Swift, right?
That's what I have.
Yeah. Never anything like it as far as the tour she went on and the amount of people involved with that and all the money that it brought in, not just for her, but for everywhere she went. That people could fly to Europe and buy a ticket and see her program in Europe and save money versus buying a ticket in the United States to see her program.
I would argue, though, the Michael Jackson thing, the Michael Jackson explosion when he was in his prime was maybe as big.
Okay. Well, you didn't say that, though.
No.
All right.
But I mean,
yeah, no, I
you
understand.
said
yeah,
that
you didn't say
the-
the greatest ever,
right?
But I bet as far as actual dollars, because the dollars, a lot more dollars now than what Michael Jackson was doing.
Yeah.
So the actual dollar amount that movie raised, or that program, her tour, I'm sure was more than Michael Jackson's.
Oh, yeah,
but, I
yeah.
mean, the dollars, it's not apples to apples if you compare them like that. But no, I think to be on the news and to have her every move, she goes to a football game and the football announcers have the camera on her so many seconds of the game, and then the sports guys get upset, and so it's very a unique kind of thing that's happened that I've never seen before.
I've heard numbers of between 230 and 300 million dollars that she was responsible to the NFL.
Yeah,
just to the NFL.
Yeah,
It's just frightening.
yeah,
I mean,
it is,
amazing, amazing.
and they're not sharing, are they?
No, they're not. They're not. All right. The 2024 Athlete of the Year.
Well, I gotta be that kid from Japan. The place with the Dodgers.
Yeah, Ohtani.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See, I knew there's a reason why you were here.
There you go. Ohtani.
Yeah, I thought because of the 50 home runs, 50 steals, never been done before, ever, and to be a most valuable player, even though he wasn't able to pitch, which is part of his magnificence, I guess, that he's able to pitch like he can, and also hit like he can, also run like he can. So I would go with him. And then if you do men and women, or
No, just one.
just one, okay.
Yeah.
So Caitlin Clark, it has to be right up there too, as far as 2024, for her to win the Big Ten and then the Big Ten tournament, and then to go to the NCAAs, and then to do so well, the Fever out of Indiana and everything. So I don't know if you had to really put your money on one or the other, it would be hard to do. I think.
Would.
Yeah.
It would.
Did you have Caitlin on?
I had Caitlin Clark, yeah. But Ohtani is a good one. Never been people want to say compares him to Babe Ruth, but Babe Ruth couldn't run like he does.
No, how?
So here's a fun fact for you people. What baseball player hit the most home runs in Jimmy Carter's life?
So he was born in what?
He's 100 years old.
Yeah, 24, so 100 years old. In his lifetime. Oh, it's got to be Bonds, Barry Bonds, right?
Babe Ruth hit the most home runs in his lifetime.
In Carter's lifetime?
And in Carter's lifetime. Is that right? I heard that today on Levitard.
Yeah.
But who holds the?
Because Bonds was active during all of his life.
You're right. It has
Ruth
to
hit
be.
some of his home runs before 24.
Yeah.
So I would think it had to be Bonds.
They were wrong. I heard that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to send a
A nasty letter.
Twitter.
A tweet. I'm sorry. Yes.
A tweet.
I'm so,
an X.
I'm so old. I still write letters every now
That's
and then.
good. All right. The international winner of the year.
Oh man.
The international winner.
Okay, you go first.
of the
Who'd you
year.
have?
I say the Summer Olympics in France.
Oh, so not just an individual, but an event.
Yeah,
Okay.
anything. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I'd
Yeah.
say that the Olympics in France were the winner. They did a great job. NBC changed their coverage, did a nice job. It used to. They did a better job of covering live stuff. When we were children, things were live.
Yeah.
And everything was done. We knew the winners and losers because it was taped.
Sure.
But they showed us live stuff this
Yeah.
year.
Well, I think it was the 1964 Olympics. Was that in Tokyo? I believe. And I was a senior in high school. I had this girlfriend, and we went on a date. I don't know where we went. And then we got home to her parents' home, and then they had the Olympics on live from Japan.
Yeah.
That late at night. And so I think I sat there till 2 or 3 in the morning. We just watched the Olympics.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah.
So I remembered that. And we watched the Olympics. I see he's grinning down there. See, but we watched the Olympics.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if it was 64, but one of those years, the Winter Olympics were also from Japan.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember what year that was.
And I can remember sitting up watching those as a kid.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie Walk, Don't Run? What was the guy's name? But it was a remake of a movie from World War II, but about Jim Hutton was in there, but Cary Grant's in Tokyo as a businessman trying to find a place, and he sublets a part of an apartment from this girl, and then he sublets part of his sublet to Jim Hutton, who's a walker. He's a walker in the
Speed
Olympics.
walker.
Yeah, speed walker.
Yeah.
And it's a very funny movie, but it was about the #64 Olympics.
Okay.
That's why I remember that.
All right. So do you have an international winner or not?
Well, I really agree with you on the Olympics that it was so well done, and there's no controversy about anything as far as the way they put it on, and they seem to cover what people wanted to see, and so I can't think of anything that I would put above that.
Thank you. All right. The international loser of the year.
Well, I want to say it's Mike Tyson and that guy he fought in the boxing match, panned by almost everyone. They made millions of dollars, but the cover, who was it? Netflix screwed up the coverage. People paid for it.
Couldn't, so angry.
Couldn't get it. And then the fight was just a bunch of guys with pillows on, almost, nothing really dramatic in the fight, and panned by everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody had a good thing to say about it. And so, to me, that probably was the most poorly presented event of the year.
Okay. Good one. All right. I had the incumbent party in 80% of the elections worldwide. That 80% of the elections worldwide, the incumbent party lost.
Yeah.
More conservative parties have moved back into power from Canada to Mexico.
Yeah. No, I was real surprised to see Trudeau's announcement the other day about not running again and resigning. Because I always got the impression that he was, he's a young, handsome guy with young children and would be very popular up there. But people have, in the old days, they had the stick with the crook on the end. And if the act wasn't going well, they would reach out there and jerk the guy off the stage. Yeah. And people are willing to do that now.
Well, there's rumors that Trudeau's going to go fishing in the Gulf of America. Is what he's going to go.
If he hangs on long enough, he can run for president of the United States.
He could.
Representing the state of Canada.
All right.
He'd be the first French guy, I think, that we ever elected. So I'm going to start working on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The national winner of the year.
The national winner of the year? Oh, man.
This is going to kill you, Dale. The winner is going to kill you to say it.
Okay, go ahead.
It's got to be Donald Trump.
That's what I was thinking
too.
So
it's got to.
I was looking for anybody else, but I think you're right.
From how many from 6 court cases to the White House.
Well, he had motivation though, because if he was not elected president, he probably was going to go to jail. See, and so he had a lot more motivation than anybody. And for something that I can't understand. It's just it's fantastic the way he made it work, and so you got to give it that so
so who would you say is the national loser of the year?
Well, it's got to be the Democratic Party.
Oh, good one.
And the United States, because it's a sea of red on the map.
Yeah.
And state after state after state is a Republican stronghold. In our own state, of course. The Democrats might as well stay home as far as going to the legislature and everything. So I would say, this has happened before. They come back, so you can't say they're dead, but they have work to do if they want to become a more important part of elections in the future.
Okay, so. I had Kamala Harris as loser, and I don't think it was her fault. Mm-hmm. She was put in a tough situation. I don't think she was ready for it. But then imagine how hard it was yesterday to have to hold a session of Congress and
certify
the winner.
Yeah.
And then listen to the opposing party cheer and carry on.
Yeah.
You know, and listen to the right wing radio ridicule her.
Yeah. Did you see the speech she gave for eulogizing Jimmy Carter?
I did.
I thought she did an excellent job there, and I was wondering after that path she sees for herself, or what she's going to try to do in the future. Would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Over the next few years, and so
it will be a good challenge. You know,
there's so many reasons to try to live longer because you just want to see how all this stuff turns out. You know,
right.
Because there's a lot of interesting things that could happen.
Yep.
With a lot of interesting people. So.
You're right. The Iowa winner of the year.
Well, can I go with Caitlin Clark?
Sure.
She's I think she did better than anybody. As far as she has good name recognition, it's almost all positive, and she's being rewarded for her efforts by
Right.
all kinds of people, and other people are compared to her that are in the same field, and so I would say she's probably the most famous Iowan right now. That if you asked somebody in New York City or something, they knew somebody from Iowa, I'm sure her name would be the one that they came up with, or almost 90% of the time.
No, I didn't want to say Caitlin Clark twice, so I said Clarissa Chun was the winner.
Okay.
Clarissa Chun is the head coach of the Iowa women's wrestling program.
Oh.
And it was their first year last year.
Mm-hmm.
Won a national championship. Brought wrestling to prominence for women in Iowa.
Yeah. I was at a gathering today at noon, and they were talking about girls wrestling. It was all mostly women, but the women were talking how happy they were to see that girls were wrestling girls now, because for a while there, if you wanted to wrestle as a girl, you had to wrestle a boy probably.
Yeah.
And they were happy to see that girls could wrestle girls. They liked that a lot better. And so it's nice. And they were saying that the parents and spectators at the girls' wrestling matches are just as up and yelling and screaming as at the boys' matches, which they thought was wonderful. You know, they really get excited, get into it for their daughters and granddaughters or whatever. And that was a wonderful thing for them to see, that the fan excitement was as big for the girls wrestlers as is normally for the boy wrestlers. So
who do you have for the Iowa loser of the year, Dale?
The Democratic Party again. I'm trying to think of an individual that really crashed and burned.
They just reelected the leader of the Democratic Party yesterday.
I know, yeah. She seemed like a nice lady.
Well, but they're getting their Republican sidekick every year.
I know,
Dale.
but she's got a plan. See, she's working on a plan, and she's young. You know, for a while the Democrat leaders, all of them were as old as Chuck Grassley. You know, they just had. Now they have someone younger and more energetic, and she just needs a little time. I think she'll do well.
I hope you're right. So I said the Iowa legislators, and you've turned me, Dale, how they have allowed agriculture to poison our water and our farmland. Mm-hmm. That has me frightened. The cancer that is so prominent in our state per capita. Yeah. I blame a lot of that on the chemicals we're putting in our water.
Do you have a category there with worst news that Iowa's got already this year? You probably don't.
No.
Alcohol causes cancer now. They want to put warning labels on alcohol. But even one drink a day can increase your risk of getting cancer. And Iowans are the fourth. Our state is number 4 in binge drinking, and also number 4 in new cancer. And so I just thought we're off to a bad start already in January. But
yeah, I'd heard that.
I don't think people are going to quit drinking.
No.
I think it was easier for them to quit smoking over the years than probably to quit having. And I know they just said alcohol. They didn't say if beer was better or wine was better. They just said alcohol. But that even one drink was enough to increase your risk of getting cancer.
I see in the stores now, it must have been a January 1st law. There's a poster that reads, secondhand smoke is bad for you wherever you are.
Yeah.
It must have been a law to come out the first of the year.
Yeah. So.
The 2024 Jesup Man of the Year. Who do you have?
Well, I'll throw out Michael Fettgetter.
Oh, good one.
I think
Good one.
I think he does an awful lot. I mean, it's his job to do some of it, but some of it he does outside of his job. And he's a good representative of the city. He has a lot to do with Farmers Day anymore. And if you see all the stuff in the park, the Christmas things, he's responsible for that, and responsible for things getting done
Right.
in the city. And he does it all while he's raising a young family. So I think he's I like him. I think a very fine young man, and the kind of person that can help a city grow an awful lot. So
he was on my list. I had three people.
Okay.
Sean Westfall from Heartland Technology. We just ran him out of his office here at Cowork 591 as we came in. He does a lot for the Steve Brown Arts Center and does a lot for the community. Then I had two young men that died recently. Reed Havlick passed away this past month, and Joe Bader.
okay.
Both young men that struggled in their lives and had a positive influence on Jesup.
Yeah.
They need to be mentioned, and their families need our sympathy at this time. Things don't get easy for them, but they had a huge impact on our town.
Yeah.
The Jesup 2024 Woman of the Year. I'll start, Dale, while you think about it.
Okay.
I have Becky Burke at the library. I know. And Rich, I'll let you talk a little bit about this. You've talked about the library here in town doing a lot for you.
I always enjoy the library here. I think our librarian and her staff are the best I've seen from coast to coast and border to border. I enjoy them a great deal. Every time I go in there, I'm greeted and asked if I need help, and every time I go in, I usually ask for something, and I get resources from them. I just adore them. They're wonderful women down there.
Yeah, they do a nice job for us.
Yep.
Thank you. Dale, who do you have? The Woman of the Year in Jesup.
I don't have one. I don't know who to say.
All right.
I don't want to get in trouble. No, I really.
You're not afraid of men, but you're afraid of women here.
Yeah, well, speaking like a true bachelor. You have no idea. No, I mean, there's a lot of people doing wonderful jobs, and I would say, and there's a woman called Monica Bankston. Do you know her?
I know Monica.
Monica, and we started out several years ago. There was a good-sized committee, and we sent boxes at Christmas time to servicemen, wherever they were, in the States or overseas. And it got down to, she and I are the only ones left still doing it. We don't have near the numbers as we did. I think she had 11. But, I mean, she always consults with me and talks with me, but she does all the work. I mean, she buys the stuff, she gets the boxes, she wraps them up, she mails them, and just does and she's so faithful. She's done this for many, many years.
Wow.
And so I guess I would give her some credit. She's done, and I know she does other things besides that, but I know she's a blood donor and this sort of thing. I would give her a shout out. I think she's a very fine lady that is very interested. As far as I know, she has none of her own relatives in the military, but she's gotten involved with this and done a real nice job. And so she talks to me every November. We talk about these boxes. And so I think this year we had 11 or 12 addresses that we got. And so
Monica,
we sent them out.
It would be great to have on the podcast.
I think she would, yeah. She's an interesting lady. And she helps at Littleton there.
Yeah.
At the chili supper and that sort of thing. So, yeah.
All right. So International Man of the Year, Dale. Who do you have?
Well, the president of the Ukraine has held that country together 3 years now with that war going on, and it hasn't always been easy or pleasant, but he gets out around the world, he's talking to people, and he's working really hard trying to save his country, and so I have a lot of respect for him. From what I know of him right now, I would vote for him.
Okay, I have the man is amazing, Elon Musk. I have him as the International Man of the Year. Probably got Mr. Trump elected. You know, there was talk before Elon Musk got involved with the election that the Democrats were out fundraising the Republicans multiple times over.
Yeah.
And as soon as Musk got in the game,
What do you suppose his motivation is?
well, I really believe the government is involved and makes things so hard for businesses that he's trying to make it. What is it? Laissez-faire.
Yeah, laissez-faire.
Yeah.
No regulations.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I think that's his motivation.
Yeah.
Because he's got so many contracts with the government. It's not funny.
So in a way, you think it's self-serving.
Yeah.
That he has this much say, and Trump got a little prickly. Someone asked him about some commentator was saying how Elon Musk was like the co-president or something, and Trump said, "Oh no," he didn't like that at all, and so be interested to see how long those two stay as a team. So
they both have the same type of attitude, and I'm afraid, you put two people together like that,
the noise
conflict.
Yeah. Because they're both used to getting their own way.
Yeah. Who do you have for International Woman of the Year? This is our last one.
The Woman of the Year is, well, I wouldn't mind saying Kamala Harris, in the fact that she was a woman vice president, and that she ran for president on a major ticket. That's only been done twice now, and so she stood up to Trump very well in the debate they had, so much that he didn't want to debate her anymore. And so I give her credit for doing for what she had to work with. I thought she did a real good job. So.
As bad as she defeated him in that debate, and I don't have a doubt, I don't have a question that she made Trump look bad in that debate. You're right. And Trump knew that. Didn't affect the election at all.
No, well, it did. See, nothing he does affects the election.
Yeah.
That's what's so amazing. Is like Gary Hart. Somebody took a picture of him on a boat with a girl.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of support, early support. It was early in the process, but he had a lot of support with up and comer, and that was enough to knock him out.
Yeah.
And nothing. It was a convicted felon, a guy that whines like a little girl when he loses, a guy that calls people names, says the wrong thing all the time about people, can't dance. Has orange skin and dyes his hair. And,
don't hold that against him, Dale. I can't dance
well,
either.
yeah, but you could do better than this.
Not much better.
Okay. But anyway, so where are we at with this? That's
all right. So,
I'll give her a little boost.
I would say here is a little known one. Netumbo Nandi Datawa from Namibia. She was.
Okay, you can't say her name or the name of the country she's from.
I know.
But you really like her, huh?
Well, here's the reason.
Okay.
Here's the reason. In a country controlled by men, she was the first woman president. Even before the United States could elect a woman.
Okay, and what's the name of the country?
Namibia.
Namibia.
Yeah, in Namibia.
I'm sorry, it's in Africa, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's in Africa. It is one of the few countries that went left wing, in 24. So we'll see. This is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network, and we're at Cowork 591 Studios. I'm with producer Blake Tempus, and co-host Dale Rueber. I'm Jim Gillespie, and we are back from our Christmas vacation, and we talked about the winners and losers of 2024. Dale, you have a new sponsor. Cowork 591 has a new sponsor. What do you have there?
Okay, well, they're going to start, and starting next week, there's a woman named Bridget Maroney that has homemade meals, and they're going to have that available in Jesup, where you can order meals before Sunday at 5 o'clock and then pick them up on Tuesday. And you have to go to homemadecatering.net. But Cowork 591 is going to have them available, or have this room available as a pickup spot for that sort of thing. And so I don't know anything about anything as far as she didn't tell me anything about pricing or this sort of thing, availability, but it's going to start this next week.
Okay.
And so you can start calling during the next week if you're interested in that.
So you can call or go online?
Well, you go online to order, I guess, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You go online to order.
Say that again. Or do you go online to?
It's homemadecatering.net.
Okay.
Okay, and on her bulletin board, I don't know if they're around town or if they're on, probably on Facebook, I would bet, because Kelly puts things on Facebook a lot.
Yeah.
And there's one of these little squares you can hit with your phone, and what's that called?
QR.
Yeah, what he said.
Okay.
So, but they have, she said you can hit, there's like soups, and there's main courses and salads and different things you can order.
All right.
And so, but the 591 is going to be the spot where people can pick those up, and it's not for a senior citizen meal. It's anybody that wants to have a meal made by this lady. And again, I don't know about pricing, how that works at all. I will find out. She just, right before we went on, she was telling me about this, and so I will try to have more information before next week.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. So I was going to ask both you and Rich, did you guys make resolutions for not this year, 2025, but for 2024? Did you guys make 2024 resolutions?
Yeah, I do not. So.
You don't make resolutions?
No.
Rich, you don't either. Okay, I am a goal-oriented person. I mean, goals drive me. I make goals every day, actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm going to talk about last year's resolutions of the Steve Brown Arts Center, as well as some of the resolutions that I had that we succeeded with, as well as failed.
Okay.
Here. One of my resolutions was to listen to It's a Good Life podcast every day. And it's a motivational podcast. Listen to it for 2 weeks. And there is a date, I believe it is January 13th. By January 13th, the majority of the population of the U.S. stop their New Year's resolutions.
Oh, yeah.
I had stopped that by the 13th
Yeah.
of January.
Yeah.
So I failed at that one. A second one that I failed at was to get under 205 pounds and maintain it.
Yeah.
I failed at that one, I'm ashamed to say. Another one was to buy a sit-on-top fishing kayak. I did do that one. It was a bad one.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't like it after you got it?
I didn't like it, and so I sold it.
Yeah.
Actually gave it away.
Okay. So an expensive lesson.
It was an expensive lesson. To fix my teeth, I did that one.
Okay.
$6,000 later, Dr. Kegler is in Hawaii right now as we speak because of
your teeth, yeah.
Because of my teeth.
Yeah.
And that's all right. That's all right, Brad. I hope you're having a good time. I'm happy.
Those darn dentists, you think they find more things wrong with you when they got a vacation coming up? I've always wondered about that. So.
Walk 7,000 steps a day. I hammered that.
Okay.
Outline and write a synopsis for a docuseries. We did that.
Mm-hmm.
That was done thanks to Becky Wierspan at the library.
Yeah.
We're still working on that process. I will let the cat out of the bag here. A cost to make a documentary, $6,000 a minute.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's holding us back, to say the
So
least.
how many minutes are we up to now?
Well, we're up to actually 30 seconds
30
right now
all
as we
right,
speak. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
You get fast-talking actors. With them.
Have a Dave Harm's art show at the Allerton. We did that. Have a Firehouse art show here in town.
And
we
you
did that.
Yeah.
Finance the Irish Blue Drifters at the Sanity Room. We did that. Show Karma Schmidt's art at the Littleton Chatham Historical Society Pancake Breakfast. We did that, although we couldn't get Karma out there. She allowed us to show her art. We helped bring planners to the city of Jesup. And you talked about Mike Fedkeller. He painted and planted those plants.
Yeah.
I'm proud to say. We purchased those. We welcomed the summer with the piano playing, singing of Carter Rout at the Depot in Independence. We had 3 performing artists at Farmers Day. Let's see, how many of those did we have on at the podcast? We had at least 2 of them on the podcast. We had all 3 of them on the podcast. Jeff Reagan,
yeah.
And then Mr. Diedrich, and then the Lanes.
Yeah.
All 3 of them were on the podcast. Have the Littleton Watermelon Day. We succeeded at that. We had an end of the summer bash at the Depot where we presented Emily Ann Bauer. Real special night. Had art instruction at the Farmers Market by Tim Kemmerer, our first artist in residence. We had our first artist in residence this year, and our second artist in residence, Rich Moore Kelly. A failure. We did not have the Monster Mash in Halloween Halloween.
Yeah.
We didn't do that. The organization, the time, the venue, it was my failure. It was my failure. We showed Tim Kemmerer at the Chili Supper at the Littleton Chatham Historical Society. We had a live Winter Festival show here at Cowork 591. Here's another one I failed at. I wanted to kayak fish the sand pits over in Waterloo. Didn't get it done. I wanted to kayak fish the Cedar River. I didn't get it done. Spent a weekend or a weekday or weekdays in Hannibal, and my job takes me in Hannibal every week. But the problem is I'm only in Hannibal for an hour to 2 hours, and because of that, I get to see things, but I get to see things for about 1 minute.
Yeah.
So I want to spend a weekend there, and
You need to crawl in the cave and look for Tom and Becky.
I do. So that.
I say your successes are far the amount of things you did not get done, though.
It was.
Very lopsided. So I think you had a good year.
So I changed my plans this year
Okay.
a lot in ways, and I'm still. So I don't have. I've got a list of about 20. The podcast will have 52 episodes again, obviously, but I have 20 other things coming for 2025. I don't have them on tonight's list because I want to let the cat out of the bag yet for many things.
Keep some suspense.
There you go. And I want to make a big poster with them to put out there this year.
Oh, that would be a good idea.
Yeah. But these are my resolutions for 2025 to buy another sit-on-top fishing kayak that I like. Now, I'm going to have to invest a little bit more money.
A trainer, or just a tryout kind of thing, instead of buying it and then having to give it away?
My mistake was this. I bought an inexpensive one last year, and it was terrible.
It always pays to go with the good top-line stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm going to buy another sit-on-top fishing kayak. That's my goal for January, actually, to save for a new cow. That's my goal for February.
Okay.
To go to a warm climate in March is my goal. And here you go, gentlemen. You guys can save me $25 if you guys go with me. I'm looking for a group of people to parachute with me in April.
Blake said he'd love to go.
All right, Blake, you're in.
Sorry, I think my schedule's packed.
All right, that's my goal.
So you save $25 if you talk to a couple other
if
guys?
I can get six other people to go.
I see. You save $25.
Everybody does.
Oh, everybody does.
Everybody
okay.
does.
All right, so
Yeah.
group rate.
Take the staff from the library.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. Here, I got a nice surprise for
Here
you.
you go.
For your good work. Here, you won this trip in an airplane. But it only goes so far, then you have to get out.
Yeah, get out. But that's my goal. That will be a story for April. There's a Jesup person that has jumped over 100 times that will jump with me. And I'm not going to give her or his name yet, but that's
But
my
we want to know
April
who to
goal.
blame, though, if something happens. So.
Okay. May.
You know, if your parachute does not open, you'll be the first one to get to the ground.
Well, Dale, my luck is the truck won't be there to pick me up either. So May, my goal is to fish Canada.
Yeah.
I've been to Canada. I've never fished Canada.
Good. I think it'd be nice to go, like, as some friends go, they go so far, then they fly in the rest of the way. There's no roads to this lake,
Right.
and so I always thought that would be interesting. So
Okay. Let's see, June to kayak fish Lake Rath, July to kayak fish Lake McBride, August to kayak fish the Upper Iowa River. I've canoed that hundreds of times in my life, never kayaked.
okay.
September, kayak fish 4 lakes in Minnesota. So, you and I both go to larger lakes in Minnesota. But if you haven't noticed, and you've noticed, I'm sure, there's dozens of tiny lakes in between those big lakes.
Yeah.
And my goal is to fish 4 of those tiny lakes in Minnesota.
Yeah. Always amazed me when driving down the road, going north of Minnesota, and you think, okay, I just went by 15, 20 lakes on the road here that look like they'd be nice and fun to fish, but I still have 4 hours to go to this lake up here for some reason, you know. And so, yeah, it'd be a good idea to try some of that.
Yeah,
And,
that's my intention.
Okay.
4 days, 4 different lakes.
Okay.
September, October, the kayak, and I've fished parts of this area, but I want to kayak from the Otterville access to the Independence boat ramp.
Okay.
A lot of people get caught because there's a lot of debris in that part of the river.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you go in September, October of the year, the river will be down, it'll be easier to portage.
Yeah. Okay.
That is October. And November to go to Las Vegas. Never been to Vegas. 4 days. Okay. I'll leave a number for you to come and bail me out,
I
Dale.
just leave your Steve Brown credit card back here. So,
All right.
Yeah.
And then December to spend a weekend in the Quad Cities.
What's in the Quad Cities?
Well, years ago I spent time in the Quad Cities, and I really liked, I like the Mississippi. And I like river cities.
Sure.
And I want to go to the Quad Cities. So
I think that's wonderful.
then I have 3 other goals for the year. Just have a checkup on my foot, the foot I had surgery on. Show gratitude every day, and I write gratitude, what I'm grateful for every day. I've done that now the first 7 days.
Okay.
Tonight I wrote I was grateful for co-work, and to work with you and Blake every week. I do that, and I want to do that every day. And last, I want to meet a new artist every month. That's one of my goals.
Okay.
Those are my resolutions for 2025. Dale, I see you got the news of the Jesup Public Library. What do you have
Yeah, I
for
have a
us?
few things here. Like I said, this coming week, the Jesup High School basketball teams are back in action. And so there's 2 games this week. The 14th is Wapsie Valley's coming to town for boys and girls. And then the 17th is Olwine is coming for a boys and girls doubleheader. The city, the firemen having a breakfast on January 19th again, their next breakfast.
Oh, okay.
At the public safety building. And those are always, I know the last one was with the ice storm here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, I did not go, but I'm assuming they still had it. I wondered how that did, but we did not go out that day with the ice. The library news, no more new spices. They're done with the spices, so. They do have some if you want to go look and see if they have one that you'd like to, from last year, but they're not doing the Spice Club anymore. Chapter Chat Book Club is on Monday, January 20th at 1 o'clock, and Jim and I both are planning on being there, and we're reading this book. It's called Zero Fail, The Rise and Fall of the Secret Service by Carol Leoning. And I'm about halfway through that, and it's very interesting. Very interesting. You learn an awful lot about government and the people that are in our government, especially the presidents, I guess, and how they try to use the Secret Service to their own advantage rather than letting them do their job. But very interesting. Are you liking it so far?
I'm loving it. Yeah. There's
very
many good
interesting
things about it.
The exercise groups are still meeting on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 o'clock, and the Little Tot Story Time is every Thursday at 10:30, and they have music and stories and activities. Some extra things are doing Tai Chi, starting January 22nd at 9 in the morning on Mondays and Wednesdays. And I don't know how long they're going to go with this. Oh, running through March 19th. You got to read the whole thing. It's Missy Anders of Northeast Iowa Area Agency on Aging for a Tai Chi exercises every Monday and Wednesday at 9 a.m. beginning January 22 and running through March 19th. And so, are you familiar with Tai Chi?
I've read... before I saw that, and I was at the library recently and saw that poster, before I saw that, I saw the benefits of Tai Chi for the elderly and the balance. Mm-hmm. And I researched a little bit, and I've been doing it a little bit now. The last 2 or 3 days I fell off. Mm-hmm. But it is... My hips feel better, my shoulders feel better. Okay. Now I could tell it last night when I went to bed. I had stiffness in my shoulders, stiffness in my hips. I'm a side sleeper. Mm-hmm. But when I was doing that, I felt as good as I had for years.
Okay. Well, if you've given up on the Tai Chi, there's something that takes place. It's a crochet workshop. January 13th at 6 and Monday, January 20th at 10. So join our crochet lessons, obsessions to learn basic stitches and create handmade items for beginners and enthusiasts alike. Bring your own hook, a skein of 100% cotton 4-ply yarn, and a yarn needle. Some patience wouldn't hurt either. That's what I would need, boy. Registration required on the library website. 10 and under must be accompanied by an adult, but they can come. Okay. This is, I find, January 25th at 10, they're going to have a seed swap. And if you're a gardener, and a lot of times you buy a package of seeds, but you don't use the whole package, and you have it. So they're having a seed swap where you can bring your partial packages or packages you didn't open and share, and you can leave some and take some. So, okay. And it's made possible by 9 square feet, which I'm not familiar with that. Are you?
No.
I would say organization. Okay. And then Habitat for Humanity, the Habitat Chat is Tuesday, January 28th at 6. And it says, come meet Brenda Schmidtke from Iowa Heartland Habitat for Humanity to discuss options and opportunities in our community for homeowners. And this is a come and go event. And so, I don't know, we have to find out more information, but it's Habitat for Humanity is getting a lot of publicity now with President Carter's death. And he was a big advocate for Habitat for Humanity. And so...
all right. Well, thank you.
Okay, you got time for a short quiz?
This is the Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. I need Rich to help me on this, though. Will you help me on this quiz, Richard? Have a seat there. All right.
What is the largest island in the world that is not a continent?
Oh, what is the largest island in the world that is not a continent?
I'd go with Greenland.
I would agree.
Okay, well, Greenland it is, see?
Well done.
Be one of our upcoming states.
Upcoming states, yeah.
And it's nice because Greenland is the home of the Morris K. Jesup.
Oh, yes,
And there's
yes.
also Morris K. Jesup Glacier area up there too. And so named after our city's namesake.
It is,
So,
yeah.
okay.
Did you know that? Morris K. Jesup, you asked me about this one time.
Yeah.
Morris K. Jesup is who we're named after.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And he was influential throughout the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Funding exploring, especially Arctic explorations and everything. So how much of Greenland is covered by ice? Give me a
That
percentage.
sounds like I'd say 85%.
Okay, that's very good. You want to try?
2/3.
2/3? Well, it says 80%. One said 70, one said 80, so you're both probably right.
Okay.
But it's interesting because the ice-free area is still as big as the country of Sweden.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
population over 100,000 or under 100,000?
I would say, I was stunned by the population of Canada today.
Yeah, not very many people, is there?
No.
No.
I would say it's over 100,000.
Okay. Wrong again.
Wow.
56,480
Wow.
in 2017 estimate. So
That's the size of lacrosse.
it is one of the least densely populated countries in the world. Okay. Was Greenland ever really green?
Perhaps
Yeah.
during the time of the dinosaurs.
Okay. 2.5 million years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the name of the man that discovered Greenland for the Vikings?
Was it Leif Erikson?
That was his son. This was the dad. Leif Erikson came second, but that was Eric the Red. they
Eric
called
the
him.
Red, okay.
And he left his country ahead of a murder charge. That's why he was being accused of murder, and so he had to get out of the country. So that's why he went there. And he called it Greenland because they discovered Iceland, and they named it Iceland, and it wasn't a real attractive name. So he called it Greenland, hoping that more people would come to settle there. And so it didn't work too bad. Okay.
No.
Is Greenland an autonomous country?
Is it autonomous?
I
No.
would say yes.
No.
Okay. Well, it says it is, but it's within the Kingdom of Denmark.
Yeah.
And so, and geographically, it's a part of North America, but it's been very closely associated with Europe for a long time.
Well,
And
Mr. Trump has threatened to put tariffs on Norway.
Yeah.
And it's to get Greenland.
No, this is Denmark.
Excuse me, on Denmark.
Yeah,
forgive me,
Denmark.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Denmark's had colonies since 1721 in Greenland and was made part of Denmark in 53 and granted home rule in 1979. And in 2009, expanded self-rule was inaugurated, transferring yet more decision-making power and more responsibilities to the Greenlandic government. And gradually they'll assume more and more responsibility. They're not an independent country now, they're still associated with Denmark as far as. Okay. Real quick, I just talked about it a little bit. Greenland was settled, first humans arrived about 2,500 BC, and they were Inuits. They don't like to be called Eskimos, I guess. They were Inuits, and there's a lot of their descendants still on the islands. 88% of the population are Inuit, would be what we call natives, or
Yes,
Aboriginal, okay. Or mixed Danish. And the remaining 12% are of European descent, mostly from Denmark. They have their own native language, and they also speak Danish. And there are two words they talked about. One of them is one of the words. They use kayaks a lot up there, and the word kayak comes from them. It says right here. Okay. Kayak and igloo are Greenlandic words that have been adopted directly by other languages, those two.
Okay.
And so, how many miles of roads are there in Greenland? Just take a guess.
I'm going to say 500.
500.
I don't drive, so I
Oh.
don't have any idea.
Well, that doesn't keep you from answering this question. Despite having a land size of 2.16 million square kilometers, there are no roads or railroad systems that connect settlements to one another. Okay. There are roads within the towns with the end at the outskirts. All travel between towns is done by plane, boat, helicopter, snowmobile, or dog sled. So boats are by far the most popular form of transportation. Okay. Whaling and fishing are the big industries up there. They still do whaling. I didn't realize that. But there are some whales. They cannot kill blue whales, and they cannot export whale meat or seal meat. But the natives up there are still permitted to hunt like they have done for many. I know in Alaska, the natives up there are allowed to fish differently than other people. Legal limits and methods they use and this sort of thing. So.
An example up in Alaska, moose. If someone dies in the Inuit up in Alaska, they're allowed to go out and kill a moose for the funeral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Feed the population in the funeral.
But I know they will do snagging with these large triple hooks, and to see the I don't know. In Mexico, the gringos, but the Americans, the white Americans, get very upset by that because it's not a sportsman-like fishing, but these are substance fishing. They're fishing for food, and so that's what makes the difference. And so, the capital city is it's N-U-U-K. So I have no idea how you pronounce that. It's sort of like the Three Stooges. Like, is what it looks like to me. But they have a national museum. They have a cultural house. And it says mountains, very beautiful scenery up there. And so, Don Jr.'s up there, right?
Hopefully Dale, you're the first governor of.
Well, I told people I'm running for governor of Greenland. And the last thing is that, what's the main thing about May 25th to July 25th? What would be the most spectacular part of that?
The sun never sets.
The sun does not set, that's right. So it's light all the time. So there's been a lot about Greenland in the news, and so I thought, well, we should know more about this country we're going to be taking over. And I told somebody the Marine Corps was calling me back, we have to invade the beaches of Prince Edward Island in Canada, where we take over that country. So,
all right.
That would be terrible, wouldn't that seem?
Thank you. Yes, some other notes there, Dale.
Well, that was about, these are notes off of that.
All right.
But you can go to Greenland. The tourism is a big business up there, lots to see. And that was just things I wrote down out of also that I didn't use. Or I used it, but I took them off the other paper. So
I want to talk about two things before we finish for tonight, and include Rich in on these topics. He brought one of them up to me. Let's start first with Cam Ward, the University of Miami's football quarterback that only played the first half against Iowa State. Then he decided he wasn't going to play the second half.
Yeah.
Rich, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on that?
I was quite saddened and a little put on edge by that display of behavior. I think it's too bad that the NCAA has that kind of behavior.
Okay, you agree with?
Well, I was always of the opinion. I taught my children this: if you join a team, then you're there for the season, whether you play or don't play or whatever. You are there for the season, and I understand these kids and the potential for injury in football is greater than any other sport. But to me, I think it's terrible these guys opt out of the bowl games. And one guy I listened to, and he said they ought to have the bowl games in September. And then the players won't know if they're going to the NFL yet or not until they'll all play.
There you go.
So then they can sit out the last game of the season if they want to. But this happens every year, and I don't like it. I think if you commit to a team, then you ought to be in it. And so, but you hear about people now. Iowa signed a quarterback out of South Dakota State. It's supposed to be very good for 1 year, but they had to work out the NIL deal with him before he committed. And I think that's just so. Actually, we're fielding professional teams,
right?
People that are playing for pay instead of you're at Iowa State, I'm at Iowa, why don't you get 11 kids together and I'll get 11 kids, we'll play football. It's more now, it's a business, and I know there's millions and millions of dollars on the line for all this, and it's too bad, I think. But it's becoming more and more professional, and it's, you won't have, like in basketball especially, you'll have 3-4 different players every year. You won't have, kids as freshmen that stay 4 years and work together and become better each year. It's just going to be every year, kids coming, kids going, and getting a better deal. And so it's hard, I think, to get emotionally involved with the team, especially with the players. I would think it would be, because they may be playing against you next year.
See, here would be my argument, and I like NIL. These guys start at 5 in the morning and then they go to 5 in the afternoon. They're hostages to these colleges. Here's my thought. They must, and they sign contracts with that NIL money.
Yeah.
They do. So they're contracted. If they don't play in the bowl, then their contract should read they have to pay money back to the NIL that they got it from.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty easy. It's pretty simple, and if they're good with that, and obviously the universities and the coaches are, there's no lawsuits. There's nothing like that.
Well, there was one lawsuit against a school where 4 players said they didn't get the money they were promised, or
was that Nevada or was that UNLV?
something I can't remember the school, but there was a problem. I'm assuming they did not have a signed contract, some kind if they're arguing this. But this stuff is still in its infancy, and they need to get it sorted out to where it's a little more. Everybody knows what everybody else is doing, I think.
That's the thing. They need to have a plan. It's coach's fault. It's the university's fault if they're surprised by this at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I really believe
and
that.
right now, as I understand it, if you wanted to take $10 million of your money and go to the University of Iowa and say, I got $10 million here, I want to buy some football players, if you need some help getting football players, that's allowed.
Yeah.
That if your team has rich alumni that are willing to do that, well then you have a lot more money to divvy out than say you and I, which has all this alumni are teachers, so they don't have any money to give. But
there's talk of, and I forget the young man's name at Texas, of him not going to the NFL because he would get less than $6 million that he's going to transfer to a different college and get $6 million.
Sure. Yeah.
To play football.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
It is good for him.
Yeah,
good for him.
Yeah.
All right, here's the last question today, and we'll get out of here. And Dale and Rich, I'll let you think about this, and I will start. I want your best memory of Jimmy Carter.
Okay.
So I'll let you guys think about that. Here is the thing. Jimmy Carter came to Washington, and he wanted to change things. I mean, they had breakfast for senators, and Tip O'Neill went to breakfast, and Carter had orange juice and rolls, and he was used to going when Ford and Nixon were in, and they would have a hot breakfast, bacon and eggs and pancakes and everything, and Tip O'Neill was just thrown angry, but to Carter's credit, he wanted to change things, but the problem was he wanted to change things too fast, and he was a good man, and that his goodness in a place of bad people, his goodness hurt him.
Yeah.
But when he lost the election, he changed the world to his credit. He did so much, and after he got out of the office of presidency, he changed world elections, he built houses. He was remarkable, and that's what I have a great respect for Jimmy Carter for. He had made a plan to get the hostages out, including Jesup's own Catherine Kobe, and the Iranians didn't allow the hostages go down the runway until Reagan was sworn in.
Yeah, and there was talk at the time that the Reagan people orchestrated that. They wanted Reagan to be the president when the hostages were released rather than Carter. And so I always thought that was kind of small of them. But,
and then there still is some people that there was someone from the Reagan election group that was talking to the Iranians. So
yeah, which they weren't supposed to do. It's illegal.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately, but Jimmy Carter did so much good compared to, in the years from 84 on, for the next 40 years, he did so much more.
Yeah.
So what's your best memory?
Well, I guess there was the gas crisis and fuel costs were up, and that's when the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit came in, right? And people hated that. But when he went on TV and he wore a cardigan sweater, and he told people to turn the thermostat down to 65, and he was the story. He grew up in a house with no running water, no electricity, and his dad was very frugal, had to be. Penny pincher, and that's the way he was brought up, and that's the way he was, very frugal man, didn't spend money carelessly, and he was trying to get that a message across, like all of us dads have done. We tell the kids, close the door, turn out the lights, shut off the water, this sort of thing, and it falls on deaf ears most of the time, trying to save a few pennies here and there. And he was trying to do that for the nation, be the nation's dad.
He was.
And it didn't work out too well for him, but I remember him trying so hard. If people would have followed that advice, we'd be in a much better situation now, if it'd be ingrained in people by this time. But Americans are, they like to use stuff, they do. It's hard for them to conserve like that. So
his sweater speech.
Turn the thermostat down, put on a sweater.
Yeah.
And how many of us have told our kids that? Almost everybody. But they want to wear shorts and a t-shirt in the middle of winter. And everything was where Nixon liked to use the fireplace. He liked the fireplace going. So in the summertime, he'd jack up the air conditioning as high as it would go, and he'd light a fire in the fireplace because he liked the fireplace. So, two very different people there. So.
There you go. Your best memory of him, Rich?
Well, I spent the first 18 years of life in the great Democratic stronghold of Minnesota.
Yeah.
And my favorite memory of Jimmy Carter was when he came to Minnesota and got on the riverboat, the paddle wheel riverboat, the Mississippi Queen. And at the time, in his administration, I was between 6 and 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
And so to have the president come was a pretty big deal. So my mom and dad took me down to the riverboat stand, and we sat and waved to Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter waved back.
Yeah.
Goodbye, dear friend.
Yeah.
All right. The one final shout out, Joe Olson. Happy 75th birthday! You're a good friend of the C. Brown Arts Center, and we got you the surprise birthday party that was on your birthday Thursday. And yes, I bought you a 12-pack of grain belts. So
was that like $2 or?
Yes, it was. It was inexpensive.
I haven't seen or heard of that for a long time.
I know it.
I'm surprised they still make it.
So, if you'd like to donate to the Steve Brown Arts Center or have an idea for an event, go to the stevebrownartscenter.org and follow the link. If you have news or would like to sponsor us, email us at jim@stevebrownartscenter.org or call 319-290-0241 and leave a message. I'm Jim Gillespie with Dale Rueber and producer Blake Tempus. Thanks, Rich Moore Kelly, for coming in and joining us tonight. As always, thanks to Kelly C. Haas here at Cowork 591 for allowing us to use the studio. Thanks to the audience for bringing these stray dogs into your life, and Happy New Year. And remember, each day is about little victories.